Today I would like to share something that we all suffer from, and that's the block of creativity. Sometimes it just is so. You can't really feel it. You don't like to take your camera out. You don't know what to photograph. So you just let the camera stay at home, and then you walk the street, you walk with your wife, you walk with friends, or you are out shopping, and then the situation is there, and you didn't bring your camera. Damned. Do you sometimes lack inspiration? Do you sometimes just don't know what to take pictures of? Do you simply lack that moment where you feel, I would grab my camera, I will go out there and I will nail some shots? Well, we all do. If we are professionals like me, I'm a photojournalist with more than 30 years of experience. But I'm also an amateur when I walk the streets for myself, taking pictures of, what do I actually take pictures of? Welcome to this episode about photography and lacking inspiration. And my big question is, which I hope will help you to gain some inspiration and gain some ideas to what to do, is what are you looking at? What are you looking at is also the title of my ebook about missing inspiration and seeking what you want to take pictures of. Some of us likes to take pictures of anything. It could be my dog, who sadly died the other day, so I'm glad I managed to take some pictures of her recently. And to be honest, she was a little bit annoying in between. And honestly, she barked at anything passing by outside our door. Honestly, she could be a pain in the ass in between. But also, I loved that dog. She was beautiful. She was funny. She was kind when it took her to be kind. And she played with our other dog. And I loved that dog very much. And all of us had these moments of memories which we can use our camera for. So be sure you remember to take pictures of daily things, like your cat, your dog, whatever it is in your daily life that seems like something that you will just remember but often forgot to take a picture of, and then when they're gone, you don't have the memory. So that's one of the things you should use your camera for, not just your smartphone or iPhone, but put that aside. Take a decent picture. Take your time to make a good framing. Take your time to make the good exposure with the right depth of field, whatever kind of style you want to do it in, but do it properly. I have always had that admiration for people that are doing simple things but with their heart, that are doing simple things but doing them completely and doing them right, like Japanese who are making small dishes or decorating the table or decorating the house into an art form. Sometimes a little overdone, I admit. Sometimes a little bit too much. But think about that. They are dedicated to do something extra for small things in life, making them into art instead of just being something you do and then forget about it and life goes on. It is so much more valuable to do something extra for the small things. And if you miss inspiration to whatever you should photograph, then start with your daily life. And let me return to what are you looking at? The point with that ebook, which is free if you join one of my workshops, and it is at a very low cost on my website. And of course, I put links below, like I have put links below to sign up for my newsletter. And links for my Instagram account, all of that. And of course, follow the channel if you like what I'm talking about. But what are you looking at is the key word for what you should take pictures of. So what are you looking at is like if you are a person who likes to walk in the nature and look at trees, look at the seaside, look at flowers, whatever it is in the wild, then bring your camera and take a picture of that. If you, like me, also like nature and bring your camera for that, or I bring my camera for that. But if you also like to walk the streets, if you are the type, like I am, who loves to sit at a cafe and I can sit there for an hour or two with my coffee, or 2 or 3 coffees for that matter, because I love coffee. And I take pictures of that coffee if I like it, because I like the aesthetics and I like the coffee. But if you are looking at people, just as an example, then begin to think about using your camera to capture people and make it into something special, something memorable. And the thing is, when you capture people in the street, whatever style you like, if it is the approach like I have, where I'm very much looking at the people and the characters and how they behave in the room where we all are in the community, then that's the type of picture you take. Other people like to bring them more in the distance and incorporate them with dramatic light that hits a surface on a wall or is sifted through a window on a rail station, whatever it is, and make bigger compositions of the overall environment and just have people as kind of less importance in the picture. Then if that is what you're looking at, that should be your inspiration of taking your camera with you and grabbing those moments. So when I have workshops, I'm not focused on bringing people into only shooting my style. I'm bringing people in and asking them, what are you looking at? What is your inspiration to bring your camera at all? What is your inspiration when you're just looking without your camera? So my key point here is, if you do not have your camera with you, what are you then looking at? And then when you observe things, buildings, light, people, animals, whatever it is, nature, if that is what you're looking at with interest, this is what you should use your camera to capture. That's the most important thing. And that will, I think, and I hope, and I almost promise, will bring back your joy for photography. The thing is that we all have these moments in life where we miss the inspiration when we are doing something else. Life comes in between the camera and us. We are maybe building a family. We have that dog we have to raise. We have children we have to bring to school. We might be busy at work. And then the camera we bought years ago is just sitting there on the shelf. And these are, for my enjoyment here, on my shelf, different cameras for decoration. But the cameras here are what I work with. These are the ones I use in daily life. But the risk is, and I know many people does that, they buy a camera, maybe for too much money, and then they put it in their shelf, and it doesn't move from there because they lack the inspiration, because life came in between. So, someday, suddenly you begin to think about, well, I have to take up photography again. So I need new lenses. I need a new camera, because the camera is what does the job. And I can promise you, it is not. It's not the camera. It's you. It is me. It's in my mindset. Everything is about the mindset. The camera is of less importance. And I will just say, I take pictures with my iPhone in between, because that was what's in my pocket and my camera was on my shelf. And my dog was laying there and she looked cute and I had to take a picture of it so I could remember it when she was gone. And now I'm glad I did. It's a poor quality picture taken on an iPhone, but okay, it's still a memory. But the memories I treasure even more are the ones that I took with a decent camera, with a good exposure, with a quality lens and a quality camera, and it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be the Leica M9 here. It can be a Sony with an old vintage lens. It can be a Ricoh. It can be Canon. It can be Nikon Z. I don't care about that. It is about using a camera so you get the best quality, and even more important, you get the feeling of grabbing a camera, taking some time to adjust the aperture, setting maybe the shutter speed if you're using a aperture priority or shutter priority, and then you take your time to focus either manually like here or automatically. All of that is secondary. What is important that you actually take up a camera, you do the effort, you do your thing, you take your picture, and you did something to do it properly, like the Japanese that uses a good knife as a chef in a private home to make a good dish for his wife, or the opposite way around, the wife did it for him. It is about doing something and doing it properly and doing it with your brain, using your feelings, doing what you love to do, and not just buy something pre-ordered from somewhere or a lousy iPhone. Sorry about that, but I have an iPhone. The camera is decent, but it's never the same as grabbing a camera, also because that tactile feeling you have taking a camera up with a little weight in it, looking at the quality of the lens, feeling the way you press the shutter button, all of that is about feelings. It is about doing something properly and not just superficially, but doing it with quality and doing it, putting yourself into it and not just something done hastily. That's my main point. And if you miss that inspiration, then of course you can join one of my workshops. Then I will help you to gain that insight in what you should be looking for. If you miss that, I can help you with camera settings. I can help you with looking for the right light. I can help you gaining that inspiration. But it also have to come from you. You have to be ready to do it. It should not be something you do just because you have to do it. It should be because you want to do it. And we have those times in life. It can be years, it can be months, it can just be a few days where you don't feel for it. But my recommendation is, even when you don't feel for it, take your camera with you, bring it wherever you go, and then there are moments that will pass by. There are things you like to watch and you like to capture, but if you didn't bring your camera, you have no chance of doing it. That's also why I recommend quite small cameras and quite simple setups, because the more advanced it is, the more you have to put in your camera bag, the more difficult it will be to actually get to it, taking the camera, taking the picture. So my recommendation will always be bringing a small camera you can have in your bag, or maybe even in your pocket for that sake, or having over your shoulder so it's easy to carry. And then I can always take a picture, even if I walk with my wife, if I walk with my dog. I still have dogs. There's one gone, but there's one that we still love. And I bring my camera every time because I never know what happens. I never know what will appear in front of me. And one day it might be the lights from the sunset behind a tree. Another day it might be my dog in front of me. Another day it might be a city walk. And of course, sometimes I simply take my camera to go out and shoot and try to capture things that I like to see as a photo afterwards. And the thing is, when you capture something with your camera, it changes everything completely. So what we see with our eyes and just passes by and is forgotten most of the time because it isn't captured. And another scene and another person, another dog, another sunset, another whatever happens in front of us, and then the other things are forgotten. What the camera does is that it helps us not only to remember those sceneries that we watch, but they are also captured with an aesthetic and transformation into an art piece sometimes, when they have that extraordinary expression that also make other people think is interesting. But for me, the most important thing is that the one who takes up the camera is photographing for the person yourself and not for other people. Do it for yourself. That's the most important thing to bring in joy in photography. And the question is, what are you looking at? And that will open your eyes for what you should take pictures of. And it doesn't matter if it is a plant in a pot, if it is a cat that is meowing like Daisy here. Come on, Daisy. And I also take pictures of Daisy because I like her and I want to remember her, but also because I like the aesthetics of taking pictures of Daisy. Daily life is sometimes underestimated and should not be. It should be brought into a picture, and you can turn it into black and white, monochrome if you want, or you can keep it in colors if that's your preference. The most important thing is that you do it. So if we put all the technology aside and don't think about what camera type it is, what lens it is, if it is 28, 35, 50 millimeter focal length, it doesn't matter. It matters that you use your camera and that you point at things you think are interesting to keep. And some days you will not be able to capture what you want. You might go out with a goal, but you shouldn't do that. I often go out with having nothing on my mind. I'm just going there because if I search for something specific, and I can bring up a story from my young days as a cameraman, because I'm a cameraman and photojournalist. And in my early days, I was hired by a very big company in Copenhagen, Nordisk Film Broadcast, which was the hottest topic in Denmark and still is the oldest still producing film company in the world. So I was hired by them. And I had that idea because I was not that old, but I was not that young as well, because was I 30 years of age, I think 28, doesn't matter, when I was hired by this company, and I really, really wanted to make them satisfied with me. I had almost zero experience as a video photographer. I had 1 year at a local television station, a very small one. That's it. I was hired and I was extremely lucky. Everything went well. And then I had an assignment, and I had, like everybody else, I have watched movies, I have watched photographs, and I had that idea that when I shoot something, it should look like something I have seen before. So I had a big assignment with a prosecuted spy in Norway, and I had this assignment, and we went to Norway, and I had that idea. I have to make this look like that movie I saw once. And I tried to set the light and tried to frame it. I tried to do everything like I have seen in that movie to replicate that somehow. And I have to say, I was hugely disappointed. Uh, Fortunately, the company wasn't, because they were not in my head. Good luck for them. So they didn't know what I was thinking about. And I had that thought about a specific look, and I just couldn't nail it because I was unexperienced and I was trying to do something that was almost impossible. You cannot do something you have seen in a movie or another photographer have done before you, because then you had to be there with the same light, with the same camera, with the same lens, with the same circumstances, and hit at the same time, because everything changes when you move. When you change your camera, it's another day. It's just an hour later on the day. Light changes, everything changes. It's not the same. So, of course, you cannot nail the same picture because it was done and then it's over. You can if you make a movie, because you can control everything. Like in my last video, I talked about that cinematography feeling you can have, the cinematic feeling you can have in a photo when the conditions are right. But as a street photographer or photojournalist, you have to go with the situation and what happens in that situation. So one of my best advices is look at what you want to look at, capture it with the camera you have, with the light there is at the moment. Of course, you can begin to change angles and you can wait 1 more hour, but then the situation is gone for the light to change, all of that. But you cannot expect to have something else than what you're looking at with that camera at that moment. So don't try to copy what somebody else does. You can copy like my presets that are free to download. There's a link below for signing up for my newsletter, and then you get the links for the presets. But the presets have to be adapted to the camera type you have, and then you can go for that. But it is still just presets, because if you shoot in the light I have in my studio here, that's different from when in the daylight. It will look different, and therefore the presets will have a different impact on the photo that you take, the picture you take. So also, if you have different cameras, they are made for my Sony camera and it is made for Leica M. But if you have a Leica M10 and not the M9, then the presets will work a little different there. But feel free to download them, use them as you want, but you cannot copy one-to-one what you see on my website or the pictures I showed during this video. It will all be different. But if you like that inspiration, then it will come back if you bring the camera. If you do not bring the camera, you will put up an obstacle to actually take photos and get that energy back and get that mood and lust for taking good pictures. So I hope my little preacher here invited you to think a little about why you maybe are not photographing as much as you do. Just bring your camera out, see what happens. It could be anything, and think about what you're looking at. Feel free to put in comments below here. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. And of course, I would love to see you on one of my workshops. And I'm sorry, I cannot bring Daisy. She have to stay home. But bring your camera, whatever it is, and let's walk the streets and enjoy photography together. I hope this inspired you a little bit. If you're lacking inspiration, it's much about using that camera for everyday life, or if you feel inspired to walk the streets. Thank you for watching.